The job of the coach really is looking at the habits that you have to put into place to build those sales muscles and that resilience that's needed to stick in there. So, what we practice is really a daily, fundamental of planning sessions, collaborative planning sessions of who's going to be in that environment, a minimum of team members and a minimum of time that is blocked out of our day. And it's actually twice a day that we look at that.
Oh, you guys do that
So
twice a
we
day,
do
huh?
it twice a
Okay.
day. So we kind of have a session in the morning, and then we have an agreed upon checkpoint that's happening in the afternoon so that we can renegotiate any of the agreements that we made as a team together that we're needing to then renegotiate for the latter part of the day for what we can still get done, because it's senior living, right? And there are going to be things that happen and it take us off plan. So what we have to do to adapt and adjust in that day, what we want is an accountability within the environment of each other to say, all right, but we agreed upon this. It was an important thing to do. And we're going to now readjust that because of these other elements that happen. And here's what the new agreement is. So it just keeps us on track, but it is a discipline and it's an approach. And I think that, again, measuring our accountability every day is that we're going to look at how we're growing ourselves and our teams, and we actually, send a celebratory message out that is about how we grew in that day from each community. So, so those are just some habits, but there's time blocking. I've said that a number of times. It really is such a fundamental part of, I think, what we're disciplined to do is just make sure that we've actually pre-planned that time that we're going to set aside to be strategic and thoughtful. If it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen.
Right.
If we're not planning it and blocking it and protecting that time, even from each other, to pull away from those important things, it'll get pulled. So we just try to be really disciplined about how we're looking at that and making sure we're honoring those agreements that we've made to set that time aside. And we do that with a discipline and a habit.
So who's involved in those meetings then during the day? So those two meetings, who's involved in that?
Well, the basics of that are the sales team and then our executive directors and AEDs. But we've been utilizing technology from the get-go at Experience, and even pre-COVID in the organization that I was a part of at that point. We were doing it pre-COVID, but COVID really put a tip on it. We actually use Teams and Zoom and our digital environment, and we actually have outside individuals invited to those as a standing invitation. So
Okay.
you'll find that the executive leadership team around our organization, it's on their calendars, and one of us tries to lean in. So whether it's divisional support or folks at the corporate office, they can lean in. And again, they're habitual, so they're protected times that we set aside. So you can log in and be prepared, for that. We ask that people who are showing up be prepared, do their homework to jump in so that they can really be helpful with providing thought or strategy to something the team is questioning or grappling with, rather than what I certainly see, and if I go visit in other organizations, which is a whole lot of situation and just reporting up like what's been happening, rather than keeping on a discipline of we're trying to move business forward, celebrate what we did, but this is time set aside to grow the business and talk about what we're going to get done.
So the top-down involvement isn't at all from a reporting standpoint. It's more from a support standpoint to bring in kind of an outside opinion.
Perspective and look at what's happening. And and I don't let it go amiss. I mean, it's other departments. I mean, facilities, team members will be inside each of those meetings. We have some communities that truly every department head sticks around and stays a part of it. And it's not stand up. This is beyond what most of our industry does in terms of a stand up and what's going on. It really is looking at client and business development connections and how we're going to leverage the relationships and what we know to help better their situation by the resources at our fingertips.